It's time for Over There with Mirella Rastorfer. Mirella is our European correspondent. She joins us weekly. She is over there. I'm going to go with the default guess, Switzerland. We're going to say, hi, Mirella, how are you?
Hi, Jill. Yes, absolutely. Switzerland for
Today.
another few days. Yes. I wanted to talk to you about two important things this week in Europe. The results of the parliament choice in Switzerland, after it has been a very eventful weekend of people deciding who is going to lead us for the next 4 years. And then, of course, a few words about England as we are entering the most decisive phase of the Brexit, or no Brexit altogether. So beginning with Switzerland, we have had this weekend the elections for our parliament. And while polls were predicting more seats for the Green Ecologist Party, the overwhelming success of the Green Party was not expected in this strength. We can nevertheless temper a little bit also the results by saying that unfortunately there was only 45.1% of participation. This is actually very low. It's the lowest in 16 years and the third lowest since the 1970s. So 45%, I mean, one would always hope for at least above 50%, but we did not reach that level of participation. Nevertheless, the victory has been absolutely clear. The classical parties, and more precisely, the right party that has and still has a majority in Switzerland, lost many seats. And the Socialist Party, which is between the two of them a little bit, that kind of balance, lost also a lot of seats. To be more precise, the right party lost 12 seats. I think in the entire history of Switzerland, I don't recall any party losing that much in one day. The Socialist Party lost 39 seats, and all the other smaller parties, right or left, that lost also some seats. And basically, the Green won 28 seats altogether, and the Green Liberal, which is a very distinctive party from the Greens, and it's important to make this difference. The Green Liberals won 16 seats. The thing is that it's important to make a difference between the Green and the Green Liberal, because at the moment there is this euphoric sense that a lot of things are going to happen as of now in the parliament because of this new constellation of power. But one should not forget that while the Green are positioned very much left of the spectrum, the Green Liberal position themselves more in the center right. That means that while they absolutely want to make a lot of decision on the climate and see how we can basically improve the current situation. They also take into consideration some more pragmatic economic issues that the Green don't necessarily want to take into account, because for them what counts at this point is the end goal, and the end goal is to save the planet, and with that to save life on the planet. So how did that happen? I think we can confidently say that this green advance has taken place already in the last European elections, if you remember, Jill. So there is definitely in Europe an extremely big awareness of the fact that it's not possible to only talk anymore, but that it's necessary to also act. The fact that all the alpine glaciers are melting, of course, helped also the cause. The fact that women have enough of being always in disadvantage and really want equality, equal pay, end of discrimination, also made possible the fact that 42% of the parliament after this election is made of women, which puts Switzerland 12 on the worldwide ranking, and only second in Europe after Finland and Sweden. So this has been this green wave was expected, but I think nobody expected a wave of this dimension. Now we have, of course, to wait and see what is really going to happen, which decisions are going to be made with this new parliament about renewable energy, about how to tackle the CO2 issue, about incentive on how to build new houses, new building according everything we know today. And all of this will have to happen in the next year, and rather sooner than later, because if there is something that definitely changed with this election is the feeling that electors, and young electors maybe even more so, want quick changes. They do not want anymore to wait forever or have endless discussions on things. Mentalities are changing. People seem to want to fly less, to take more train, to also have a different attitude towards food, towards meat, more specifically. So all of this, while of course the more conservative part of the country has the feeling that it's all a hype and it's all largely exaggerated. There is no doubt that there is also a large part of the population that really want to see changes be made. So this is about Switzerland. Now going back to the Brexit, which is definitely a very acute issue this week, because Johnson, Prime Minister Johnson, definitely wants to have this week a vote on the PM's withdrawal agreement bill. Some journalists expect that to eventually go through this time. because also the decision of the European Union on an eventual extension has not been made yet, there is also maybe this feeling in the air that if England doesn't show a little bit of goodwill in at least agreeing on the withdrawal and then looking at the legislation, then who knows, maybe no extension could be granted, and that would mean then all of a sudden a Brexit without a deal. So I have the feeling that this agreement has a very good chance. What's going to be definitely much more complex, much more complicated, is to check the legislation and to also agree on that. Everybody concerned with the Brexit think that obviously some people are going to try to have amendments, maybe to still push for a new referendum or a closer customs unions. But in any case, Prime Minister Johnson would like to have this legislation checked in 3 days only, which of course makes this week very stressful for all the people involved. The feeling outside of England is that the Parliament has somehow to get together. The English Parliament has to get together and get to some constructive solutions, because until now there has been a little bit this feeling that the key word was destructions on all boards, leading obviously to no solution at all. A new referendum would be very complicated in a way, because nobody could guarantee that the result would be any different than the one today. And also, there is something about referendum that allow people to express themselves, and to do referendums that ask 2 times the same question is highly unusual, except if there has been some foul play by the first referendum. But it is just very unusual, because there has been a question. The question was very clear. The people have answered. Obviously, it was a very tight one, but that is actually with referendums not unusual at all. It is very often around the 49 against 51, 52%. So this is not unusual. And it would be maybe a possibility to have a second referendum, but it would certainly put England in an extreme delicate situation with the European Union, and one that would be extremely difficult also to further negotiate, because from what I heard and read, there is also a certain fatigue now with the European Union about the Brexit, and there is definitely the wish for a acceptable solution one way or the other.
Thank you very much, Mirella Rastorfer, over there.
My pleasure.